Hello students, so let's continue with the lesson, the meeting pool. So in the previous class, we have just seen that the three friends who have just pledged out to meet up near the pool after 10 years, that is during the month of April of 5th in 1964. So we just saw how Rusty discovered a stream and they were just enjoying up diving in the water. So the same way, whether they have found their friends when they are grown up. So let's see that. So as in the previous page of the lesson, so a bit of a phrase is left over. So please follow it from there. Water trickled down from the hillside from amongst ferns and grasses and wild primroses. The rock beside the stream were smooth and some of them were grey and some yellow. So this has been described by how the picturesque has been pictured up near the stream up there. So the rock beside the stream was very smooth enough and they had some grey and some yellow flowers and there were primroses too, and a small waterfall came down from the rock and formed a deep round pool of the apple green water. So the color of the water was under the water was it was apple green color. When I saw the pool, I turned and ran backward to town because I wanted to tell the others. So after a discovery of a pool, he just wanted to return out to the town and inform his friends because the friends are the fellows whom we really enjoy with. And the next, then we'll be going to learn how Somi and Anil were. Anil and Somi were close friends, closest friends. Anil lived in a crowded lane of the Dilaram Bazaar. He was very wild enough and moody and impulsive but had a certain charm. So this describes the personality of Anil here. So he was very wild, moody, and impulsive, but had a certain charm. And whereas Somi, on the other hand, was very gentle in his behavior, in his ways, but he too, like Anil, had a sense of fun. So Anil had little sense of fun, and they usually choose the adventures where we were to have, and I would just grumble and allow my fellows to be or myself to be a part of them. So here, though he has discovered and all the adventurers will be chosen up by my friends, that is the Rusty's friends, and he would be following his friends' instructions. But the pool was my discovery. My, in the sense, it refers to Rusty here. So Rusty has discovered this pool, and he was very proud of it. When we call it Rusty's pool, so that's the reason. So they just renamed the pool as the Rusty's pool. Said Sumi, and remember, it's a secret pool, and they have given and addressed the pool as the secret pool, and no one else must know about it. And it is a secret pool and a place where they come and enjoy. So this has to be kept very secretly. Nobody else should know about this pool. So that's the reason. So they call themselves as the secret pool. I think it was the pool that brought us together more than anything else. So this was one of a place where they have become and their bondage have become very strong enough and they have come closest with each other. Somi was a beautiful swimmer. Somi was a beautiful swimmer. He died off the rocks and went gliding about under the water like a long golden fish. How does a golden fish do? It goes with the long and it dives out very nicely. The same way, Somi was also a very beautiful swimmer. Anil's legs and arms were very long in the sense he was just thin and had a long arms and legs, and he trashed about it very much with much vigor but with little skill. So he was also willing to dive like Somi, but he could not because of his arms and legs were little long enough. And I could dive off a rock. So Rusty could also dive off from the rock too, but usually I landed on my stomach. So he usually landed up with the stomach. So these are the words told by Rusty himself. So let's see up in the next. Let's see up in the next page. what else does Rusty say about the pool? So in the previous I mean the page of the lesson, we just saw what kind of pool they have just discovered and who discovered it. Rusty discovered it, and later on they have kept a name for it, that is a secret pool, and they did not want anybody to know about this because this was kept very secretly. And later on, so let's go with the further of the lesson. So Somi was a expert swimmer, and whereas Anil had very long legs and long arms. Whereas Rusty, he wanted to dive like Somi, but very unfortunately, he was always landed up with his stomach. So and then, so the next thing what we are going to see in the next page is that in the pool there were slim silver fish in the water of the scene. So what kind of a fish we just see? We just saw there were a slim silver fish in the water of the stream. So at first he tried to catch them with a line, but they soon learned the art of taking the bite without being caught on the hook. So here a line, it is nothing but where we usually use to catch up the fish, that is the thread of the fish. So it will be having a bite. It is nothing but a prey, the thing which will be feeded up to the fish during the fishing time. So that is nothing but a bite here. So here the silverfish have learned the lesson that how to unhook the bite and remove from the hook and eat off, but they were not caught into the lane. So next we found a bedsheet. So they found the bedsheet. So the bedsheet which was found from Anil's home. So Anil had removed it from his mother's laundry. So he has taken up the bedsheet from mother's laundry, and we stretched it across one end of the stream, but the fish would not come anywhere near. So they just tried up with the line and even with the bedsheet, but unfortunately they could not catch up the fish at all. Then there were other activities at the pool, wrestling and buffalo rides. We wrestled on a strip of sand that came down off the edge of water and rode on a couple of buffaloes that sometimes came to drink water and wallow in the more muddy part of the stream. So here the other activities were also going on apart from fishing. So what are they? They used to go on wrestling and rides of the buffalo. The buffalo just they were just coming up to drink water near the pool, so they used to glide on them. So glide in the muddy soil, and even they used to try to just get onto the buffalo and ride with them. So and they have also just experienced the wallow wall. So wallow, it is nothing but to just roll onto the muddy part of the pool there. So and then having a very pleasure. So these kinds of activities were giving up pleasure for them, and we would sit on the buffalo and kick and yell and urge them forward. So they used to kick off the buffaloes. They used to yell, and it is nothing but to shout and urge them forward. Urge them forward. It is nothing but to pull them forward forcefully. But we never able to move them because it will be very heaviest thing, and because of its weight they cannot move a bit. At best they would roll over on their backs, taking us with them into the soft mud. So instead of pulling the buffalo, so they had a good idea that they would have gone on their backs and they would have taken them to the neat place. So these are the activities were going on near the pool. And then later, uh, it did not really matter how muddy we got, because we had only to dive into the pool to wash off the mess. So here they were not worrying about how dirty they are and how muddy they are just getting in. So all they wanted to just enjoy the moment and get wallowed, and no matter how dirty they are. So in the next paragraph we'll be going to see what are the next things and what are the adventurous things will be done by these best friends. So that says that I do not remember how we finally broke up. So he doesn't remember how they have finally broke up and how they lost the connection. So Rusty is now just remembering the school days and how they were enjoying near the pool. So it was very hard. It was hardly noticeable at the time. In spite of our pledge to return to pool as grown men, we never really believed that we could go in different ways. So it's a totally uh, unbelievable thing, and they do not really remember when they have just got into the different ways, and they don't remember when they got apart from each other. Then we would leaving the pool. So and how could we leave the pool that we are very much attached to? After about a year, Somi passed his matriculation, and he just remembering few of the things before they get into the different ways. That Somi has passed up his matriculation examination and entered a military school. So he just remembers that Somi has entered into the military school. And when I saw him about 3 years ago, so it's almost of 3 years ago, he has seen he had a fierce and a very military mustache with the hairs which grows on their faces. So they had a very strict and a very sturdy kind of a look where he has joined for a military school over there. And where, shortly after Somi left, Anil also he left the city with his family. He just left to Delhi, and they did not see them again. So finally, all the friends, that is Somi, Rusty, and Anil, parted from each other. So, and what happens in the next of a lesson? So, let's see. And what of the pool and our pledge to come back after 10 years? So, we have just divided among ourselves, and we have just went with our family. And what about our pledges? So he's just remembering. Rusty is remembering now what happens for our the pledges and the promises that we have to come back near the pool and meet up after 10 years. So have they met? Let's see in the further of the lesson. In April, I happened by chance to be in the same part of the country. So Rusty was in the same part of the country, that is in the same city. And I decided, I in the sense Rusty is telling all these things, I decided that I at least would keep my part of the pledge. So I should not think about the Somi and Anil whether they come or not, but I should keep up my promise what they have done during the school days. But I could not find the pool. So he just came near the pool, but he did not see any pool where they were just playing off. So there were no pool at all. I found the ravine, so that is nothing but the small stream which was just going out, and then and the bed of the shingles, that is the rocks which was left over near the pool side which there was before, but there was no water at all. So there were only stones left out, but there was no water. The stream has changed its course just as we had changed ours. The stream had also changed the course as the same way the friends have gone through the different ways. I waited in the ravine for 2 or 3 hours. So he just was waited for 2 to 3 hours that somebody might have come, but no one came. So as his hope got, he just got disappointed. Nobody came in after a long wait of 2 to 3 hours. I suppose, I in the sense the Rusty suppose it was foolish of me to expect anyone. So he thought for a while that it was one of his foolishness that he was expecting Somi and Anil to come off. Somi must have been with his unit, so he's now just imagining himself and just consoling himself that how busy his friends would be. And Anil occupied with the business of living. Somi must be with his unit, and Anil would have occupied the family business and living with the family too. Probably they both had families, so he has also thought that they had their families, and I was the only one who had not really grown up. So I was thinking very in a kiddish manner. The pledge was not at all so serious that I took it into the serious notation, and I just decided to come in. But whereas Somi and Anil did not try to call up or make a contact with Rusty, or they did not try to meet up near the pool at all. So he is the one who just came to the pool and was expecting the other two friends to come up. So let's see in the next class what happens. So what's my suggestion is to just revise the lessons till where we have just completed. So at the end of the lesson, I'll be concluding the things and we will be just again revising the things. So till then, revise yourself and happy learning.